Howdy FLUFFBUTTS, it's me, FaolanCortez Cult, and welcome back to another unscripted discussion. In previous months, I made two videos where I reacted to your G5 hot takes and your G5 headcanons. And now, I'm going to be doing another one of those kind of videos where I react to your G5 what-if scenarios. What-if scenarios are basically what if, like, this certain event in the story happened in a totally different way. So, like, for example, if Hitch didn't adopt Sparky or Sunny got convinced by Opaline. Just general twists and turns like that, and I thought I might as well react to your G5 what-ifs and react to them and see what kind of way they could have been told. So, without further ado, let's begin. What if Opaline succeeded in convincing Sunny how powerful alicorns can be? Okay, I'm going to assume that this mainly takes place during Alicons, you know, when Opaline was communicating with Sunny through the mirror. If Opaline did succeed in that task, I think Sunny would slowly become separated more from her friends and she would listen more to Opaline through the mirror, which she knows that she would have been mistaken for herself because, you know, the mirror reflected herself and not Opaline. Opaline could have gotten more into Sunny's head and, you know, she could have been manipulating her way more often and maybe telling Sunny to do bad things instead of good things. Like, maybe in the next episode, the Cutie Mark mix-up, Sunny maybe wouldn't have apologized to Hitch and their friendship could have been broken. The girls would have taken notice of that and they would have grown suspicious of Sunny, and maybe Misty could have gotten wind of that as well, and maybe she could have been manipulated at the same time because, you know, one domino leads to another. So Sunny's friendship would just shatter, and imagining if Opaline managed to tell Sunny how powerful alicorns can be and just to more embrace her alicorn parallel, Sunny could have taken advantage of that and just used her alicorn powers in the wrong way. So maybe Opaline could have just done her dirty work through Sunny. Oh my gosh, that is a really dark thought. Equestria would end way more quicker than we expect, and Opaline would just be indirectly responsible for that because, you know, she's just chilling in her castle and just only giving commands. Almost like Sunny would be a robot and in control of Opaline's commands. Oh my god. I really wish that had turned into an episode because, you know, when Sunny was under the influence of Opaline's magic in as the Misty clears, that evil version of Sunny wanted nothing to do with friendship and she just wanted everyone to be for themselves. I think if Opaline did manage to get into Sunny's head fully, Sunny would have just been, it's all a free-for-all and no more friendship. Oh my god, it would just be like what happened with Opaline versus Twilight all over again, but in a different light. What if Zipp and Pipp's Okay, you spelled biological wrong, mate. What if Zipp and Pipp's biological dad finally appeared somehow in the series? Oh, their father finally making an appearance. Oh, that would be definitely interesting. If Queen Haven's husband did make an appearance in the show, oh, would she be happy or not? In my personal headcanon, I don't think that Haven would be too happy with him returning because we don't know the reason of why he left and what was his relationship with Haven back in the day. Was it abusive? Was it passionate? Was it like amorous? Or was it just like a casual relationship but maybe the dad wanted nothing to do with the throne, or we just ran away, or he like relinquished the throne? If that was the case and he returned, oh, what would Zipp and Pipp say? Perhaps they would be happy at first, but then they would realize the truth of what he is, and then they were like, no, we don't want you as our father anymore because you left us for nothing, like probably when magic was just gone and everyone was segregated. You know, you could have stopped it. Also, we've got to include Alphabeetle as well in this timeline because, you know, he started dating Haven around the start of chapter 4. Oh, what would the biological father say? Oh my god. If their dad did come back and maybe the father saw Haven with another man, there could have been some drama involved. Oh, that would have been juicy to see. And maybe Zipp and Pipp would have to learn more about one or the other, so maybe the siblings would have to choose which parents to go with. Oh, imagine if Pipp stayed with her mother and Zipp went with her father because, you know, maybe he was a bit too different along with the other people, so Zipp and Pipp would go separate ways. What the fuck? Oh my gosh, that is a really interesting thought. Perhaps Zipp could learn more from her father than what she learned with her mother because, you know, maybe Queen Haven was a bit overbearing at first and maybe commanding because she wanted Zipp Zipp to take the throne and not Pipp, so Zipp could practically run away from the throne and be with her father. Basically, if the father was to make an appearance in the series, I think it wouldn't be like the happy reunion everyone would be expecting. I think it would be more like a dramatic showdown between the two families. What if Sprout decides to not follow Phyllis's orders and knowledge on his childhood? I think what you're trying to say, pal, is what if Sprout never listened to his mother during his childhood and actually was his own man? Maybe Sprout would still get into the sheriff position, but he would be like a more responsible sheriff and he would be an actual obedient deputy to Hitch, and instead of just like going against his orders. Sprout wouldn't be jealous of Hitch, and maybe he would actually be good friends with Sunny, and you know, at the beginning of a new generation, Sprout really wasn't that friendly and he was always ruining Sunny's toys, and he never really enjoyed their storytime playtimes together. So if we take Phyllis out of the equation, Sprout could have been way more open and exuberant, and I think he would have just been like a more faithful pony, like a more loyal companion. Oh, maybe he could have been a more loyal pony than Zipp, but I kind of doubt. But imagine if Phyllis never liked that of her son, and maybe she disowned Sprout for being just a good kid, a goody two-shoes, you're not following what I want you to do, well, you can just go away. Phyllis would continue to rule power and supremacy over the whole town, and I think the movie would remain rather the same, but instead of Sprout being in charge, it would be Phyllis, and maybe the power would go more to her head, and she would like probably create that same gigantic Sprouticus Maximus robot, but in the shape of herself. There was some concept art of that as well, if I can show you it here. Yeah, that is true. That is what Sprouticus Maximus would have looked like. If they actually did go that route in the film, that is just kind of disturbing, like Sprout making a robot of his mother. That is just weird. But yeah, Phyllis would create that robot and she would want to take over the world, and Sprout would actively go against his mother and he would probably take her down personally. Like maybe he would try and wake her up and prove, yeah, Mom, I love you, but this is not the way, just stop. Like a polar opposite switch of what we saw in the film with Phyllis stopping Sprout, and then Sprout would stop Phyllis. Oh my god, that would have been heartwarming as well, because you know, the mother and son could apologize to each other and they would make up, and perhaps Sprout could become part of the main six, and maybe when Misty came into the equation, it could have become the main seven. Oh, that could have been intriguing as well, but shame we never got that and Sprout just remained a vile dickhead. What if Misty became the main villain? Oh, I've heard this several times, but let's just see what this guy has to say first. There is a point in the series when she was close enough in the main five, but still envious of their friendship. Yeah, that is true, because, you know, Misty was always observing them from the sidelines and in the background. Oh, I wish I had something like that, but perhaps if it went a different way, like, oh, I hate their friendship. I just want to shatter it apart because I can never have one like that. She had the potential to be a more serious villain than Opaline. Yeah, I've said that many times in the past as well. Misty could have been a way better villain than Opaline if she had the chance, because, you know, Misty could have backstabbed Opaline, and Opaline would have been the one begging for help for defeating the monster that she created. Oh, like in a Frankenstein kind of sense. Because Opaline didn't really know the main five, but Misty did, and we did have a sneak peek of her role as a villain in Emotional Roller Coaster. Oh yeah, that Misty form of Misty with the red eyes in Emotional Roller Coaster Tell Your Tale, where she was always, yeah, you're always alone. You will never have any proper friends because you don't want to join them. If that really did become the case, oh boy, Misty using loneliness as her power, like everyone will become lonely because I can't have any friends. Oh, that would have been a really jealous move of Misty, and it would have made Misty such a relatable and personal villain to us, the audience, because, you know, some of us have coped with like isolation as a fear as well, and darkness. You don't want to admit that sometimes you will just be all alone and it will just lead to depression. God, oh yeah, Misty the villain pretty much using depression as her power. Oh god, I think that would have been too grim for My Little Pony. But yeah, I would have loved to seen that go either way, because Misty could have been a way better villain. And maybe during the end when Misty knows it was too much and, oh my god, is this what I created? I was manipulated all along and no, I don't want this. How do I stop it? And then she can't reverse it, and then she just blames herself in the end, and maybe it would have led to the inevitable and everyone just cleaning up the mess. God, that is a bit of a dark thought to think about. If Misty was never reformed, I think we should be grateful that she was reformed because I don't even want to think about that thought any longer. What if Zipp got Sunny's letter instead of Izzy? What this guy is basically saying, what if Sunny sent this letter in A New Generation and it landed in Sever Heights and Zipp got the letter instead of Izzy? If Zipp got the letter first instead of Izzy, I think it would have made A New Generation a more energetic movie because, you know, Zipp would have been all in for the mystery about why everyone just got segregated, and Sunny and Zipp could have bonded way more quicker than Izzy and Sunny, admittedly. If I can explain this in a story sense, I think that Zipp would have brought Sunny back home to Sever Heights with her, and then maybe she would have introduced Sunny to the Queen. Maybe the Queen would be more understanding, and then Haven would have been more open to the idea of accepting the friendship of other species, but I think maybe she would still be locked up. But I think Haven would have been questioning Sunny through the bars. You know, in that scene where Zipp was giving the book back to Sunny and they were asking each other questions through the bars before they got interrupted by Pipp. Perhaps Pipp would have been the more agitated one because, you know, all the attention was not focused directly on her, so she would have been more jealous, and perhaps that one deleted scene from A New Generation, you know, the one with the massive stage and Pipp wanting to take those people down now, they're ruining my show! That particular scene would have happened, but then they would know that the Queen and Pipp were all frauds because they couldn't fly, so maybe the Queen would have went along with Sunny on her journey, so then they would go to Bridalwood and then they would meet Izzy for the first time, and then they would like knock on her door and then she would have been like, hello, and she would have been like her normal, colourful and energetic self, so Izzy would have been invited them into her house. She would have made some like observations of herself on the pony tribes and wanting to get out there, but maybe Izzy would have been a bit too afraid to go out there because she doesn't want to leave her home, so maybe Sunny would have sung Fit Right In and then Izzy would have joined in as well. They're given all those costumes. Oh, because then I just realized that if this story was real, Haven would have met Alphabeetle way more sooner and they could have bonded more quicker. Oh my god, the relationship would have just clicked like that. And then when it came down to the final battle, Zipp and Sunny would have worked together to get the crystals back. I believe Sunny would have been more grateful to Zipp than Izzy in the actual movie because, you know, Zipp wanted to get out there. She found Sunny and she helped her solve the whole mystery, and then maybe Zipp could have become queen way more sooner too. Oh gosh, because Queen Haven at the end of the film, she could have handed her crown to Zipp, like, you're now the queen because you proved to be different and now it's your duty to protect this whole kingdom. Maybe Zipp could have been more accepting of the role of queen. Oh gosh, I really love this what if because it's really leading to a whole alternative universe. Good work, mate. What if Argyle never died? Ah, the most obvious what if ever. What if Argyle Starshine never died or never disappeared? If Argyle was still alive during the events of the future when Sunny woke up instead of just seeing his glasses on the desk, Argyle would have probably went with her to the factory and maybe, you will let Sunny in because she is my daughter and she has something to say, and maybe Phyllis and Argyle could have had like another back and forth and argument, but maybe Sunny would have snuck into the factory in the first place and Argyle probably would have given her a little wink like, good luck, my girl. Then Sunny would have went up on the stage and did her like performance with the sign, but then it went out of control. And then when every pony started insulting her from the crowd, Argyle would have stepped through and took the stage along with her, and he would have revealed everything to the whole crowd as well. And maybe the residents' brainwashing could have worn off a little bit because, you know, those kids in the original movie, they did open their minds a little bit to what Sunny was saying. But imagine if it was Argyle on that stage instead. Oh, some people could have just been, no, forget about this brainwashing. I want to listen to this grown man because he actually knows what he's talking about. And, you know, the residents could have been familiar with Argyle during that time as well. They may have seen what he was, like, conjuring up in his, like, lighthouse. Phyllis could have lost control way faster than expected too. And maybe Sprout wouldn't have been happy with that. He could have kicked out Argyle and Sunny before it got too intense and colorful for everyone to just, oh my god, I know the truth. So know, when they got kicked out and Sunny was feeling a bit down, Argyle could have comforted her, and then Izzy made her way into Maritime Bay, and Argyle would have went along with them. Maybe, perhaps, Argyle wouldn't have went along with Sunny and Izzy. Maybe Argyle could have been operating in the background, maybe doing his own adventures and going off to Bridlewood instead, maybe learning the knowledge of the unicorns first, while Sunny and Izzy went to Zephyr Heights. Oh my god, I love this idea! So let's take the original storyline and have Sunny and Izzy doing their antics up in Zephyr Heights, while Argyle went to Bridlewood, because, you know, he did have that map on him, and he would have grown familiar with the unicorns, understanding, using his knowledge to his advantage, and maybe he could have met Alphabettle as well, and sharing history with each other, maybe Alphabettle opening up about his lost daughter, just a little bit, but not enough to, like, really cause suspicion. Then, when Sunny, Izzy, Zipp, Pipp, and Hitch went away from Zephyr Heights and they made their way into Bridlewood, and the main five could have strolled through Bridlewood, and they saw Argyle as well, and then Sunny tells them all about that. He is my dad, and he's actually here. He's gonna save us all. Which possibly means that Alphabettle would have been accepting of the main five's friendship and wanting to, like, reunite the world all over again, and it's only the Pegasi that they have to worry about, because, you know, what Izzy said about the Pegasi being bad news, and the unicorns wouldn't allow it, so they defended them, and then maybe the Pegasi could have opened up their eyes. Wait, different species of ponies protecting each other? Maybe we should do that too. And then they all went back into Maritime Bay to try and reunite the ponies, but then Sprout took over and he built that giant robot all over again, and then they tried to reunite the crystals. But with Argyle being alive, I don't want to say this, but perhaps Argyle could have died during the end, because, oh my god, that would have been a really befitting end to his character, being so smart and wholesome. And maybe Sunny has to learn from her dad's experience of reuniting everyone, and she realizes that it ain't the crystals that need to be brought back together, it's us, and then she becomes the alicorn. So then maybe Sunny buries Argyle in the destroyed lighthouse's garden, and maybe when they rebuild the Crystal Bright House, Argyle's soul could have been integrated into the Bright House. Like, that probably explains the whole voices stuff that was going on in, like, Tell Tale Season 2. Oh, man, I really do wish that Argyle lived into Make Your Mark and Tell Your Tale, because he would have been a really intriguing character too, and almost like a mentor of some sort to the main five, almost like a teacher. What if Zipp actually went back to Zephyr Heights with her mum at the end of the Make Your Mark special? Ooh, I really like this one, because, you know, that bit at the end of the special could have been like a whole what if scenario episode, because, you know, Zipp decided to stay with her friends, but what if Zipp decided to go back with her mum and learn more all about the throne? I know that's not really in Zipp's character to be one for the throne, because, you know, she kind of rejects it and she just wants to be that rebellious pony who wants to travel the world and find out more about who she is first. But what if she just forgot about all that and actually wanted to be on the throne? If Zipp did go back to Zephyr Heights with her mum at the end of the special, perhaps, like, Zipp could have kept in touch with the main five during that time, and, like, maybe they could have sent letters, or the main five could have just traveled up to her and say, hey Zipp, how are you doing? How's the lessons for being queen? And Zipp could have been, maybe she would, like, enjoy it for a day, but then she would realize, oh my god, is this really what I chosen? Can I back out now? But maybe Queen Haven wouldn't really like that, and you made this choice, Zephyrina. You will learn on the job, or you will just be imprisoned or something. Yeah, that probably won't happen. But yeah, for seriously, Zipp would learn more about being the queen, and maybe she would, like, learn more all about her family history, like what we saw before in written in the Star Scouts. Then Zipp decides that she does want the throne, in fact, but she wants to do it her own way and not following in the line of tradition, because, you know, it could have been something way different and rebellious at the same time. So Zipp would still be true to her character, but she just wants to do it her own way, so, like, in a unique perspective. And, you know, when Opaline eventually, like, takes over Equestria and actually travels to Zephyr Heights to collect more cutie marks, Zipp could have used her, like, queen status to, like, order all of the Pegasi to attack her. No turning back, everyone! Just attack the fuck out of her! Zipp could have finished the job way more quicker as well. Now, that is another interesting thought. Oh, but would Zipp want to keep the throne when, after, like, Opaline is finished? Maybe not. It could have been, like, like the shortest tenure for a queen, so maybe Haven would return to the throne. Like, okay, maybe my daughter is good as a queen, but maybe she's not fully ready yet, and she just allows Zipp to be her own person. So it would have had the same effect as the original ending in the Make Your Mark special, but it could have led to more exploration, basically. What if Misty was never kidnapped by Opaline? Oh, that is another classical what if as well, because like, what if Misty was never teleported by that mysterious fog and eventually got kidnapped by Opaline? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Misty would have just grown up more with Alphabettle, and maybe we could have seen Misty's mother as well. Like, what happened to Misty's mother? Did she go away, or did she die, or did she die giving birth to Misty? We could have known more about those intrigues and plot lines as well that were forgotten, because we could have learned more about Misty's character as well, and she would have grown up a happy and wholesome life with Alphabettle, and maybe during the events of A New Generation, Sunny and the rest of her group could have met Misty way more, and Misty maybe a bit brainwashed by Alphabettle's like, no daughter, we don't accept any other tribes. Misty could have ran away from her father instead of staying with him because she knows the true light and what is going on, so she eventually becomes friends quicker with the main five. If Misty was never kidnapped by Opaline, who would Opaline have? She would just been all by herself. Ooh, who would have Opaline kidnapped instead? Maybe Opaline could have kidnapped an ordinary unicorn just to do her bidding like what Misty does as well. Or maybe Opaline could have kidnapped another member of the main five. Maybe Izzy or Pipp, because you know, they're the most susceptible and the most gullible as well. Gosh, imagine that. Opaline kidnapping Pipp or Izzy. Shit. Or maybe Sunny as well, because, you know, Sunny has... Oh my god! What if Misty and Sunny swapped places? That is another what if in itself. Misty, if she was never kidnapped by Opaline, probably G5 wouldn't have even happened. Misty would have grown up happy and just loving life. What if Spike was never in Opaline's castle to help Sparky and defeat Opaline and the Rainbow of Light that was used to restrain her? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious, mate. Opaline would have won because, you know, the Rainbow of Light, it did help capture Opaline in that little prison for a bit, but if Spike was never there in Opaline's castle, or he remained possessed by her magic, Sparky, oh gosh, yeah, I don't think he would have made it out of that force field in time, because maybe the Rainbow of Light's magic could have faded out and Opaline, haha, your magic is no use for mine, I will take over the world, and these dragons are my henchmen. But maybe Opaline could have used the Dragonstone to suck more dragon fire out of the dragons, and maybe eventually kill them as well. The dragons probably could have went extinct at that point, and maybe including Sparky as well. Oh my god, poor Sparky, he could have been drained of all of his dragon fire, and he would have been killed as well. But that also reminds me of my own what if scenario, because with the inclusion of this one as well, I just wanted to bring this one up of my own. What if Sparky died in missing the mark? Like, imagine that, FLUFFBUTTS. Just imagine that. And I'm kind of shocked that no one, like, posted it on my community post, because I thought it was, like, the most obvious, because you guys know how much I love Sparky. So, what if Sparky never lived in Chapter 4's finale? If Opaline did drop Sparky into that river and he just fell to his death, or he eventually drowned, imagine the repercussions of that. Hitch would have been fucking pissed off of Opaline at that, and maybe the main five would have never forgiven Misty for that. Maybe when they eventually find out that Misty had a hoof in killing Sparky, oh god, maybe the cutie mark would fade away, because now she doesn't know whether she is good or bad, because she helped her friends, but then she helped kill one of their friends. Like, oh my god, she would have been in probably the most conflicted point in her life. She indirectly killed Sparky too. Fucking hell. Hitch would have practically been so furious, and he would have went out of control. Maybe another Operation Glitter Bomb would have taken place, but probably more brutal, because, you know, Misty and Opaline just killed his best buddy and his son, practically. Sunny and Zipp would never have forgiven Misty, and Pipp would have rejected her as well, and Izzy as well, opening her heart up to Misty first by accepting her friendship and giving her a good time. Maybe she could have fallen into oppression as well, like, oh my god, Misty, did you do that? How could you? You're no longer my friend. Izzy would have been sad to hell and back because, yeah, Misty was the first proper unicorn friend that Izzy made, and knowing that she would have killed Sparky, she would have been heartbroken. The main five would have just left the castle and left Misty and Opaline to their own devices, and maybe Opaline, proud that she's killed Sparky, Opaline could have punished Misty way more deeper and stronger than ever before because, yeah, I finally killed someone, and now, knowing that you tried to help the others, you are in it for it, girl. Perhaps Misty could have been brainwashed even further, and Misty would have become like an actual villain as well, like a proper observant minion to Opaline. Oh my gosh. I think this just kind of proves that Sparky really is one of the most important characters, because if he did die during missing the mark, the consequences would have been severe for the whole of Equestria, not just the main five and everyone else. Hitch would have been angry. He could have even lost his mind that he just lost one of his dearest friends. Sunny and Zipp never forgiving Misty. Izzy, like, just becoming sad all the time now. Pipp not really knowing what to do anymore. Opaline very happy and more determined that she'll take over Equestria. Misty could have been further manipulated and even turned more to the dark side. Equestria could have honestly ended because without Sparky being there in the castle to get the Dragonstone, Equestria would have been doomed. So I think we just have to thank Sparky Sparkeroni that he is alive. Sparky Sparkeroni is Jesus. I said it now. What if Hitch stranded up for Okay, I think that's meant to be saying stood up for Sunny, mate, not stranded up for. What if Hitch stood up for Sunny when every pony hated her for trying to bring back magic instead of being a pony pleaser? Yeah, to be honest, Hitch was a bit of a pony pleaser in the movie because he was just doing his job and just trying to please everyone, trying to keep everyone happy and obeying the law. And especially when Phyllis told Hitch to get Sunny off the stage during her presentation as well. He didn't hesitate, but it was in Hitch's good heart just to get her off the stage to avoid embarrassing herself further. But what if Hitch actually stood up for Sunny in that moment and actually tried to, like, back her up on those claims and defied Phyllis? Oh, Hitch could have been fired from his job, I think, and Sprout could have taken over as the head sheriff more sooner as well. And then when Izzy travels into Maritime Bay quicker as well, Hitch could have been more obeying of Sunny, and the three of them could have been a trio at that point, and then they would have gone to separate heights. I think the movie would have been practically the same, but only with the changes that Sprout was now in charge and now he controls the police force and everyone else in the town. It wouldn't really make more of a difference, but I think it would have made Hitch a more dependable character and his sheriff duties wouldn't really be considered important. I think this Hitch in your what if scenario, mate, sounds more like the show Hitch than the actual movie Hitch, because he sounds more kinder and accepting and caring. Yeah, I think it just would have been a more bigger heart. And finally, what if Spike was revealed to be Sparky's dad? Oh man, I thought about this as well, and I genuinely wish that Spike was really Sparky's dad when we first met him in the Isle of Scaly. That face hug or face nuzzle with them felt too personal and familiar. But yeah, if Spike was really Sparky's dad, I think the two of them could have bonded a bit more quicker as well. Maybe Sparky could have shared some, like, babbly history all about where he grew up and, like, oh my god, wait, if Spike really was his dad, I'm having a mental breakdown. This is truly remarkable. Spike could have recognized where Sparky's egg had traveled to Maritime Bay, and Spike would have been thankful for the main five for keeping him in, like, safe hands and hoofs, and then they would have, like, battled Opaline all again, and then Sparky would have, like, revived his dad from the possession power and freed him. But then that begs the question, would Sparky have gone back with Spike his dad or stayed with Hitch the pony dad? Oh my god, that would have been a more questioning conflict. Although if those set of circumstances did happen and Spike really was Sparky's dad, oh man, I hate admitting this, but I think Sparky Sparky would have gone home with the dragons instead of staying with Hitch. That would have been a seriously emotional farewell, and maybe Hitch crying his heart out, but knowing that Sparky is in good hands because he can learn more from the dragons and he can grow up with them, and maybe he could like go for visits as well, because you know, you can't just cut Hitch out of his life, because Hitch practically raised Sparky as a baby, but now knowing that Spike is Sparky's dad, Hitch would have acceptedly like let go of Sparky, and he would have been more comfortable having fun with Spike, the actual dad. And like maybe when Sparky grows up, he could have gone back to Maritime Bay to spend time with Hitch. So it's not all like that the end of the world sad, it's just like a happy farewell, like, okay, see you in a few years, son, I'll miss you. Oh man, I think that could have made up for a good few episodes as well, exploring Sparky's past and learning more about Spike as well, and like, what did he get up to as well? I still authentically hold on to the belief that Sparky should have been Spike's son in the first place, because that would have been a major shock. Oh boy. So FLUFFBUTTS, that wraps up another unscripted discussion of me reacting to your G5 what if scenarios. I seriously hope you FLUFFBUTTS have enjoyed watching, and probably this discussion was one of my favorites because fireworks were going off in my head just trying to describe the events that were going on in there. What if scenario was your favorite? Do leave a comment down below and explaining, and do you have any what if scenarios of your own? Do leave them down in below, because I would love to engage with you on this topic, because this is probably the most interesting one there has been. So FLUFFBUTTS, don't forget to hoof smash that like button down below, and don't forget to leave your comment too, don't forget, and subscribe to my channel for more stuff like this and many more content coming soon. And also don't forget to leave a pledge on my Patreon page down in the description below, so you can help support me in making these fantastic videos more consistently. And I shall see you all very soon. Goodbye. And just before this video ends, I want to give a huge thank you to all my patrons on my Patreon. My Silver FLUFFBUTT patrons, Drew Lazinski, Sabrina Wade, and Alex Smith, and all my Gold FLUFFBUTT patrons, Clear Heart Apple, Jonathan Chapper, Darthsiler22, Owen Wildish, Stephen Cram, The Bluish Pony, and KikiBat VA. All of your love and support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.